Good evening, everyone. Trust your day went well. Mic check. Please let me know if you can hear me. All right. So, how did your day go? And how was your assignment today? I hope we all have submitted assignments, but we're starting from there today. Okay, great. Um, so I think we can start with the assignment. We can start with a review of the assignment first, and then before we proceed into today's class proper. However, this is the last class, officially the last class. So, how excited are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to begin to? You're going out now to conquer. How excited are you? Let me see your excitement level in the chat. Abimbola, you're saying the time frame for the assignment submission is too short. So the thing is, the assignment was weaved into your day-to-day. So it's not like it's not an assignment where you have to go there. It's literally your to-do. So except you do not use a to-do list daily, then that is when you would say the assignment is hard, or it's too short rather. It's too short notice. But if you typically use a to-do list, ideally the assignment is take your to-do list and group your to-do list. That's all. So, well, except you don't use a to-do list to manage your time. I hope you can still hear me. We have a very interesting topic ahead of us today, like a really interesting topic. Yeah, it's a really interesting topic. But yeah, like I said, today's the last class, so let's see your emojis. How excited are you? Are you excited? This class, the classes are finally come to an end. You know, what are your expectations? How do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Let me see your emojis in the chat. Let's go. Are you ready to go out there and start making impact? Awesome stuff. Very, very awesome. That's good. All right. So maybe today being the last class, I'll finally show you guys I'll finally do like a video so you can see me before we end the class officially. Okay. Let me share my screen. Let me share my slides. All right. Oops. Okay. So I was saying that today being the last class, I'll just have the class with my video on, just so you can, so it can be a bit more interactive compared to what we've had in the past. Okay. So just mic check once again. To be sure you all can hear me. And also just to add that the classes, so today classes would end today, but it doesn't mean we still have other activities, like we still have other winding down activities, right? So it's just classes that is ending today, but there are still other activities. Like you even have a project that you need to carry out, okay? But yeah, so classes will end today. Okay, but yeah, so it calls for celebration. We've been here for almost 3 months, and it's been just an amazing ride. Coming to class Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, having your assignments and all of that. So if we were, so let's pop out. How are we popping now? We're popping water, or we're popping juices. What are we popping? What are we celebrating? We should be very, very excited. Yeah, I'm excited. You all are going out there to make a mark. You all are going out there to make an impact, and yes, it's good to see. And we cannot wait to, see you make your impact in the world. We cannot wait to hear your names. We cannot wait to hear about the mighty and the amazing things you will do when you get out there. So yeah, congratulations once again, everybody. It's so good to be here. All right. So we'll go right into I want us to start with the assignment first. Let me know in the chat. How many of you were able to submit your assignments? How many? How many of you were able to submit? Okay, so all right. So training assistant, I didn't get any notification of an assignment submission today, unlike the last time. So I'm not sure why that is. But is there a way for me to access the assignments on the call? If there is, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so maybe we can do that during break or after break, because I want us to finish up this class on time today, and yeah, just finish up the class on time today so we can have time for questions. And there's a little exercise that I have, but it's a class exercise anyway. So yeah, I just want us to do that and just have fun. It's party mode today. Yeah, even though there's class today, but yeah, let's all get into party mode, celebration mode, because it's a good day, right? So yeah, so technical assistance, if you could please just help with the assignments somehow, so we can go through it on the call, maybe after the class. Okay, so we'll go into today's class very quickly. Again, if you have not been, if this is your first time meeting us at this point in the class, or if you have never been here when I introduced myself, my name is Ololade Akingbade, and I have 6 years of experience in administrative leadership and in administration and customer success combined. I started my career as a personal assistant, and I moved on to being an executive assistant at Diola Seco Limited. And then I moved on from there to being currently I work with Mono Technologies as a partner success specialist. Okay, and if you want to connect with me, I'm very active on LinkedIn, Ololade Akingbade. All right, so today's topic, we've been speaking about business growth, business operations and growth. And day one, we spoke about project management, spoke about time management. We learned about the Eisenhower matrix. We also, day two, we talked about how to scale your virtual assistant business. And the three, we're talking about business continuity and disaster recovery. I mean, that sounds like a mouthful. That sounds like a lot, business continuity and disaster recovery. What does that even mean, especially in the context of being a virtual assistant? I mean, you might wonder, why do I need to ensure business continuity? Or some of you might even be coming across this word for the very first time, but that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to learn and to add knowledge to ourselves. Okay, so introduction to business recovery. Mic check, can you hear me, please? Okay, so introduction to business continuity and disaster recovery for virtual assistants. Now, importance, definition and importance. Business continuity refers to the the proactive planning that ensures a virtual assistant can continue to deliver services and support to clients without significant interruptions, even when unexpected challenges arise. So, in a nutshell, what business continuity simply means is how you ensure that even in the face of unexpected challenges or unforeseen circumstances, like we like to say, your business does not suffer. Your business does not stop. Your client does not have to bear the brunt of an unexpected challenge. That's business continuity, ensuring that your business continues. You are able to continue to deliver services and support your clients, even without any significant interruptions, even when something unexpected happens. For example, power outage. We're in Nigeria. What if somehow something happens and they tell you, oh, there's no power outage for the next 7 days? And you're like, oh, and then you start to shake. Oh my goodness. Oh, what how do I do? I have 7 clients and their work is due in the next 5 days. That means you did not take proactive steps to ensure that even in the case where something like that happens, you are not affected. That means you do not have business continuity plans. Or for some reason, you had internet failure, or maybe if you remember, there was a time when what's this internet provider was inaccessible for I think about how many, I think 2 days or there. I think it was one of our service providers in Nigeria. And then people had to start switching to other networks because that network, you could not make calls, you could not even access internet because some subsea cable was destroyed or so. I don't know how many of you remember that incident, but yeah, that is also an unexpected challenge, right? And again, if for example you are a virtual assistant and that challenge affected you to the point where you had to halt businesses, you had to halt client deliverables, then it means you did not have a continuity plan in place. Or maybe even personal emergencies. Something happened, maybe your area was flooded, and then somehow your area just got flooded or your laptop crashed, and then because of that, everything just stopped as it came to an abrupt halt. No plan B, no contingency plan, nothing. That means you were not proactive enough. Now understand that if you are and now this is especially for VAs who live in Nigeria or even Africa, and you want to work with global clients, you cannot begin to tell a global client that actually, I didn't have lights. That's why I didn't submit your work. They can't relate. And because they cannot relate, it will not really make it will not be excusable, right? If you are probably working with a Nigerian client, which is not excusable, by the way, because remember I said yesterday that you should not be given to always giving excuses that you don't do that. You don't do that, okay? But if I mean a Nigerian client might be more understanding because okay, they understand the client, they understand what's going on. But you can't tell someone who's abroad or who's not in Africa and tell them that the reason I couldn't do it is we've not had light on our streets for 5 days. Our national grid fell down. And I mean, they don't want to hear. They're looking at you strange, like, are you really serious? There are thousands of VAs out there. So you cannot afford to allow circumstances ruin your ability to be productive. Okay, so if you're in Nigeria where you know you have power issues, where you know internet reliability can be very inconsistent sometimes, have a solid continuity plan that ensures your client's work is not affected and you are able to maintain your professional reputation. Because before you know it, people will say, "Huh, that lady, no, please don't hire her. Because if you do, she's gonna come tell you that something happened in her streets tomorrow and then she could not finish up your work. And you don't want that to be your reputation. Okay? All right. Now, please let me know if we're still following. Please let me know if we're still following. Now, um, disaster recovery. Disaster recovery is the reactive. Now, note that business continuity is proactive. Basically saying, okay, in the case when this happens, how would I attend to it? What would I do? However, disaster recovery is now reactive, meaning it has actually happened. Okay, it has already happened. Now, it is the reactive plan designed to recover crucial data, systems, or tools quickly after a disruption occurs. So, when that thing has happened, how do you get back on your feet? So, disaster recovery is almost like an offshoot of business continuity plan. So, if you have a solid business continuity plan, then it means you will have a solid disaster recovery plan. It means when something happens, you're able to bounce back quickly because you had a solid business continuity plan in place. Right? So if, for example, you had during that period where that like in Nigeria where we were not able to access internet for a while, like calls were not going through, internet were not going through, something happened, you know, if you had a solid business continuity, let's say you had like another mobile network or another SIM or another internet service provider, which was your backup plan, right? Already registered, everything was fine already. And immediately that happened, and you realize that okay, this is looking like it is not, I mean, it is going to last for a while. What will you do if you what the next thing you do is immediately switch SIMs, right? Purchase data, switch your SIM, and work continues. Okay, so what that means is because you had a solid business continuity plan, which was having an extra SIM just in case, when the issue then happened where you were cut off from the internet, immediately the next thing you did was you moved to your continuity plan, which was the SIM, and then you were able to bounce back quickly. So it means we're able to recover quickly from that disaster. So you see how both of them are linked hand in hand. Now, if you did not have that continuity plan in place, which is having that SIM card, trust me, you know what will happen to you? Your work will stop, you'll be frustrated, then you have to be forced to probably go out and look for somewhere where you can quickly register your SIM. And then they'll tell you, oh, you have to wait for 24 hours for your SIM to come back up, for you to be able to use your SIM. And then when you now go home, you don't realize that, oh, something happened. By that time, you already lost like 24 hours. Are you there? Mic check. Please let me know if you can hear me. Mic check, please. Mic check, mic check. Can anybody hear me? Okay, fantastic. All right. So, yes. So we're speaking about so we have covered business recovery, sorry, business continuity and data disaster recovery. Okay. Disaster recovery also, it could also be, I had also mentioned this earlier. Imagine if you were working with a client's data or working on a client's job, and for some reason the only place you saved, the only place you had the client's job was on your local computer, and then for some reason maybe your device crashed. What would you do? I mean, how would you even, like, that? And then imagine you don't have any other place where you backed up that information. That means that's very poor continuity plan on your part. It means you didn't have plans for disaster, such that if anything happens, you are able to bounce back quickly. Okay? Okay. So relevance to V is why important. Why should you even think of it as a virtual assistant? One, technology. Okay? Technology. Your work structure heavily depends on technology. You use computers, you use a lot of project management tools, like you are heavily reliant on tech tools, so you need all these things. Internet, you work with internet for communication, right? You work with the internet for communication, you have clients meetings, you have tasks, you work on task management and all these things, so they're very, very important. Then cloud systems have all these things in place. That's how you can back up your files, have, backup data and all of that. A failure in any of these areas, imagine if your computer crashed or if your internet goes off or just something happens, without a solid business continuity or data recovery plan, results in missed deadlines. You can miss your deadline, you can lose data, you can even lose your client's trust, damage a relationship that you probably, I don't know how long it took you to get that deal. You just damage that relationship because you didn't have a solid. So this is something that could have been avoided if you had a solid business continuity plan in place. And these disruptions can actually impact your ability to meet up with client expectations, and definitely it will lead you to losing clients. You don't want to you, because this is something definitely within your control. A lot of times when people say things like, oh, circumstances beyond my control, it's not entirely true all the time. Because if you had a business continuity plan in place, it would not have been a circumstance beyond your control. Now I'm still going to go back to my example of when we were cut off from the internet in Nigeria, due to something happening in the sea or whatever. I am still going back to it. Imagine if a VA test and comes and then uses that as an excuse for their client and say, oh, in fact, we're cut off from the internet, no internet at all. For in fact, I had to go rush to another service provider's office, I had to rush there, I had to go and get a new SIM quickly registered. Oh my god. I mean, that seems like a smart move, right? But not exactly smart. Compared to another virtual assistant that immediately they noticed that immediately they switched to their alternative SIM and the work continued like it didn't even stop. Still within the same country, different approaches. Why? One person had a business continuity plan in place, the other person did not. So you can see it's not exactly a circumstance beyond their control. All right. Now, introduction to by still introducing this to you. Key differences between continuity and disaster recovery. Key differences. Number one, business continuity is a comprehensive approach that includes all of your work's operations, not just technology or data. It's about creating a plan to ensure you can continue working during potential disruptions. So, like everything that has to do with your operations, that has to do with the sustenance, the sustainability, the continuity of your work in the case of any eventualities, that is business continuity. So, it's about creating a plan to ensure that you can continue working during potential disruptions. Okay. And this might involve, of course, communication continuity. Ensuring what does communication and continuity mean? It means you are ensuring that you can still communicate with your clients despite internet or power failures. You can, and that's the thing, you cannot call, like I said, there's a standard of excellence you should aim to have. I said it yesterday, don't let excuses be your norm. Excuses be your, like, don't always defer to excuses. Like, always look, okay, how do I solve for this without having to always give an excuse? And that might mean you even anticipating the problem before it happens. Sometimes you're like, okay, what can I do to ensure that this does not even happen? Right? So have think about it. How do what some of the ways, like I said, some of the things that you might need to do to ensure that to ensure business continuity, communication. What do we ask yourself, if this phone, and if your phone today decides that, okay, the phone, maybe you're using the phone to communicate to the client, and the phone says it's not working anymore today, what is the plan you have? Your client to just be lost, so your client to just be there, no way to reach you because your phone's not working. And then after 5 days, you now come back and say, sorry, if I this phone is my mother's phone, I had to just quickly borrow her phone and put my SIM. I mean, who wants to hear that? Right? Then always like data, mobile data. Don't say, oh, I cannot, I've been trying my app since. I wanted to subscribe. You see, this my app. Oh, this bank. Oh, this bank. Why is this? Look at recently. We all know the upgrade that happened with one of our banks in Nigeria, and we were all locked out of our accounts. So imagine if that's the only account you have, and that's the only account you had money inside in it, and then you're trying to resubscribe to your data, and then you could not access data. So the client then have to suffer. And then when after 5 days, you're like, oh, sorry, in fact, you need to see this bank. I was trying, and you're expecting the client to massage your head and say, wow, well done. You did well. No, you didn't do well. That's not what it means to do well. That's medicine after death. Right? Why don't you come up to a position where rather than it even happening, you have immediately you are plans in place to ensure that this doesn't even happen at all. Okay? Even maybe, for example, what if you could even have you could have a case where maybe you anticipate something is going to happen, and okay, it can even disrupt your flow or your process. Even a business continuity plan is also calling your clients ahead of time and letting them know that, oh, something is happening here in Nigeria, which I anticipate would cut me off from the internet for 2 weeks. Or for example, maybe you are going for NYSC, for example, and they're going to post you to one remote village that has not seen internet in 5 years. You can one way you can ensure communication continuity. Reach out to your clients beforehand. Let them know, I'm going for a mandatory 3 weeks orientation, and I'll be incommunicated for that period of time. So because of that, I'll quickly round up every project I'm currently handling, and all of this. That is also continuity. You don't want to leave your clients hanging and wondering what's happening. I didn't hear from this person. I did not see this person. Like, as how you can. And another thing is, something that we also tend to do sometimes is you just feel like, but I didn't know there was not going to be network here. I mean, how about you knew that you have clients that are working with you? You know how important internet is to you, and then they are going to post it to a village called Obokiki village somewhere that looks like. How about you research? Go on Google, read about the village. Ask questions. This village, do you have access to internet? There are people that have gone there. There are people that have put their expressions online. Go and find out so that you're prepared, and you know that if it's something you need to reach out to your clients for, you do so. This is how to be proactive. Trust me. See, excuses does not look good on anybody. It doesn't look good on you as a professional. It doesn't. When you're given to excuses, you just look like you're not serious. That's it. That's it. Then also another way to also ensure business continuity is task management continuity, preparing alternatives. to ensure essential tasks like content posting, client reports, social media management can continue without interruption. So, like I said, let me give you the instance of this the school. Maybe you are posted to a school, you're going for NYSC, and then you are posted to a school or posted to somewhere. Maybe you are going for your orientation, and you needed to go for 3 weeks. You found out and everything that internet was not going to be great there. So you said, okay, I would obviously have to work overtime, create all of my social media posts and schedule it. You have tools which you can use to actually schedule your social media posts, right? If you're a social media manager, you should know that. And you're like, okay, I will schedule all of my posts. I'm going to batch create content, batch create my posts, and then schedule it at the different times so that it can be posted even whilst I'm away and everybody's happy. That is also a way to ensure business continuity. Not that you now go there and they say, hey, no internet in this village. Oh, hey, let me climb the tree to see if I can. What is that? Or then you find out that your schedule is so tight, in the orientation camp, and you don't even have time to even catch your breath. Talk more of creating any post, and then you are disorganized. You are already disorganized. You are just like, oh my goodness, I need to, and then you are scattered because you didn't plan. And you think the client will come back after that kind of experience? Of course not. And then some things that we now tend to do is you now try to get the client to pity you that I actually went for service, so I didn't know that place. In fact, I had to climb one hill just to see if I can get far. I even fell down from the hill and broke my leg when I was trying to look for net. Come on now. Like, can we please not do that? So please, always ensure, don't be given to excuses. Imbibe that culture where you're like, you know what, excuses is not going to be my thing. I will find a solution to this thing. I cannot be giving excuses. All right? Sometimes you can even decide, okay, I'm going away. Let me look for a very good colleague of mine that I know is very, very, very good at their work, at this job. I will delegate the work to them. You know what? I'll pay you. Just help me with this. As long as it's not like you're sharing confidential data or confidential information. That's why I know, okay, this is what I need you to just do for me. Stand it for me whilst I'm away. Do you get my point? That's to ensure that your task continues, even in the face of eventualities. Okay? Now, let's move on. So yeah, I just gave an example here. Okay, so disaster recovery. Now, disaster recovery focuses primarily on the IT side of business continuity. So that's how to recover your systems and your data in the event of a disruption. So the main goal is to restore technology and to ensure that any lost data is recovered. That's it. Like I said, imagine if your laptop crashed during a project. So a disaster recovery plan would involve you restoring your data from the cloud and moving it to another device, and work continues without any issues. Let's say you have started the work, you have in fact gone really far, you are 70% done, and the project is due for submission in 2 days' time, and you had spent maybe 2 weeks already, researching, gathering information, correcting, you have sent the document to your clients, they've done version 1 correction, done version 2 correction, and you're like just 3 days away to completing it, and then bam, your laptop just crashes. No backup, nothing. What will you do? No continuity plan. You didn't plan for that. What will you do? You will now go to the client and start speaking English. No, you don't do that. Right? You should have a backup. Once that happens, you already backed up your work. So if that happens, next thing, just get a secondary device, your alternative device, go to cloud, download, and continue work. No, in fact, you are back up in less than 1 hour. That's it. So you see why this is very, very important. It is non-negotiable. You just have to. Okay? Now, why business continuity? Now, this is narrowed to Nigerians. Why business continuity and disaster recovery matter. So even if maybe people, our colleagues in maybe in the West, maybe they can manage, they don't really know what it is like to have power outages. Even if they do, the company will call them before, they'll send them notice and tell them, oh, expect power outage between so time and so time, and expect it power to return at so time, So they might really, even if they probably can get away with some things, not all things, but for us here in Nigeria, please, you cannot afford to, especially because you are working with people who don't even relate to your own experiences here. Power outage, we all know it's not news. In Nigeria, our power supply is very inconsistent. So you cannot now use that as an excuse for anything. We didn't just find out today that there's no lights. So why would you now use that as an excuse to not deliver your work? Are you just realizing that that is what is happening here? Right? So have backup plans in place. Get your generator. Get UPS. Buy, like I said to you, I said when I realized that the price, I think it was on Monday I was sharing this, I think, or Tuesday, I can't remember. And I was like, when I realized that the cost of fuel was going really high and running the generator for as long as I was running it would cost more money. What did I do? I said, okay, business continuity plan. And most of my work is on the internet, obviously. I work from home for the most part. I decided to purchase a higher grade laptop that has a higher battery capacity. That I know if I use this one for one working day, it will serve me well. And that's what I did. And it's been serving me. Some days I will not even run my gen for like 4 days even, and I'll be fine. Because between the period where I would charge the laptop fully and until when I need another charge, they would have restored power, even if it's for some minutes or and again it's also fast charging. So charge and then it's back up again. So that's the thing. Business continuity. I won't sit down and start giving you excuses and tell me, my in fact there's no light. If I had to see the fuel, I had to go and stood under the sun. I had to go and stand under the sun. And in fact, the fuel is now fine. Oh, what's that? Right? You could even decide that okay, you don't want to even use you don't even want to use all of. You can even go and get a co-working space. Co-working space, you don't even need to think about fueling, you don't even need to think about a bike generator. Just pay. Subscribe. Okay, I want to pay to a co-working space. You go there, you already have lights, you have the environment, you have everything there. Carry your laptop and work. So there are solutions around you. We're just the ones that just like to give excuses, just seem to be the easy way out. So and then you're now wondering, but why have you been bidding for jobs? Why does it seem like you're not getting enough clients? Because of how you work, because you're not being professional enough. And nobody wants to work with anybody that will stress them. No. All right. So internet instability, it's not news. Today, we can just wake up and hear, oh, something stole something from somewhere. There's no more. You know these things happen here. So in fact, there was a time I had about 3 different SIMs. If one decides that they stole the submarine cable or what did they steal, they can't steal the other ones. Because you know the kind of country you are in. In fact, I feel like we are the ones as Nigerians, we are the ones that should even be very guarded about things like this because we know where we are. Right? Now, please, internet instability, So get backup options. You can get another 3 different internet service providers. Just get at least if this one decides not to work today, the other one will work. Right? It's very important. Then also data protection. Sometimes your clients might share sensitive data with you. Please, you should be careful. If you have sensitive client data on your device, you should not be the one going to use public Wi-Fi. You shouldn't do that. And that's why educating yourself is also part of business continuity. Educating yourself on potential risks, for data risks. These are the things that some of you don't even know, that using public Wi-Fi is a potential risk, is a potential cybersecurity risk to your device. Some of you don't even know that. You just go, you use these are the things you need to begin to look into. Oh, I have sensitive client data. Let me even inform myself on how to handle data. Some of you don't know that breach of data is actually an offense and you can get sued for it. These are things you need to begin to take yourself seriously because God is taking you seriously. Ensure that if your client shares sensitive data with you, you store it properly. Store it well. your device is not exposed to risk or cyber. If someone shares with you a link and looks suspicious, don't even, because you have data to protect. So don't say, let me just click the link. All of us are the ones looking for money in this Nigeria. They say somebody is sharing 500 million naira. Let me click and collect my national cake. Come on. And then you click and then somehow give access to cyber internet scammers, and then they wiped, or they were able to get your client's data. So please let me know if we're following. Please let me know if you're following. Please let me know if you're following. Please let me know if you're following. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So don't worry. I'll try to run up on time so to give room for questions at the end of the class. Oh, I can see someone here asking me for the brand. Okay, so at the one I got at the time is HP, very very strong. However, I'm using a Mac now, which is even more stronger. My Mac can last 2 days. It can even last me 2 days. And I would 2 days. I was talking successfully that I can even Mac for 2 days without charging it. Okay, so the one I got initially, the one I got that served me for like a day, like I served me for a working day, is HP. Currently, I use a Mac and it can serve me for 2 days. MacBook. Yeah. Okay, so okay, so moving on. Identifying potential threats and risks for VAs. Okay? Identifying potential threats and risks for VAs. So, as virtual assistants, we operate in a very unique environment. And sometimes from home, a lot of times you don't even see, your client does not even see you. Okay. And what would even determine that you're doing your job is when they see your output. So imagine the only thing that would determine that they're not wasting their money paying you. You are giving excuses over it. If you were in an office, right, at least they'll see you, even if they see you at your desk, by your computer, they can say, okay, this person looks like she's working. But you're working remotely. The only thing that will let them understand that, yes, they're not burning their money or they made the right decision to hire you, you're not giving them excuses over it. Okay. So we often operate in in a unique environment, often from home or remote locations. And with this, of course, it exposes us to specific, sometimes risks and challenges that can impact our ability to serve clients effectively. And so of course, this is not an exhaustive list, okay? It's just some of them. Some of the risks and the threats that you might encounter as a VA. And of course, it's great to know these things so that it can help you to prepare for potential disruptions. Okay. So, technology failures, I already mentioned that because we're heavily reliant on technology. We're heavily reliant. I mean, if today, for example, the government of Nigeria says no internet anywhere in the whole country, how would some of us not be able to get on this call? So we're heavily reliant on digital tools. We're heavily reliant on technology, and any failure in these systems can severely impact productivity. Internet outage is another thing. Most of our work, you have to use the internet. You have to either research. If you're not researching, you're in a client's meeting. If you're not in a client's meeting, you are working on a client's job. If you're not on a client's job, you are building your portfolio. You are using internet, right? And when you have an internet outage, it can pause all these activities. Computer malfunction. You're not. This is not abacus age where you're writing paper. But we are using a computer. And if a computer malfunctions or it experiences a technical failure, it can lead to a delay in delivering your task or even responding to your client's inquiries. Even software, some of the software they crash. There's also that as well, right? You also have situations where software can also crash. Then natural disasters. Again, thank God in Nigeria we don't really have a lot of that, but that does not mean that it's not happening. Some areas experienced flood. I think Borno State experienced flooding. I think just not very some weeks ago. So yes, it also happens here in Nigeria. And with this thing, so imagine an area that has been that flooding has occurred. The last thing you even want to you even want is electricity, because it can cause electrocution, right? So power outages, it can happen, right? Floods, storms. Most times when there's flooding, when there's storms, all of these things, they would cut off power supply so that it doesn't cause more damage. So these things are potential threats to your work. Cybersecurity threats. Trust me, this cybersecurity is oh, you see those guys? Oh, they're not sleeping. They can get access if you're not that's why people that just click on links anyhow. You click, you just find something and tell you, oh, make the government of Nigeria is sharing 50,000 naira to every youth in the country. Click here to get yours now. And then you are clicking. Come on now. This is 2024. You didn't even decide, okay, let me even verify. And since I want to really be a part of this goodie, let me at least verify to be sure. You didn't even try to check, research to see, at least if the government is giving out that kind of money, you would see it. You would see it in media. You would still, you didn't do that. You just clicked, bum, and then at the end of the day, you found yourself carried you to where you don't even know. So please, when you handle client information, you have to be careful. You are susceptible to cyber security risks. Okay, cyber criminals can actually send. I'm telling you, there was this email I saw where even when you're receiving emails, okay, when you're receiving emails, sometimes check the email link. I'm telling you, these guys are not rested. That's why you also need to update yourself every day up with their tactics. And the reason you even need to take cybersecurity much more serious because you are working on the internet. That's your office. That's your office. That's where you are. That's your juicy posts. So you need to update yourself. How are these guys operating now? How can I protect myself from their attacks? Okay. So yeah. Um Yes, so VAs can fall victim to ransomware attacks. So yeah, you have that. There's also something called ransomware where they will lock these guys are not resting. Where they will lock your important files, they will lock you out of it and tell you they will not release it until you pay a ransom. So you see, it's not even only human beings that they kidnap. They can even kidnap your files. What do we call that now? We can't call it kidnap, right? We call it what? File nap or document nap. But yeah, it's called ransomware, where they would somehow get access to your computer. They don't have to be there with you. Choose one careless access that you gave them, or no, really, they'll get access to your phone. They will lock it. You'll be able to access very important files, and they'll tell you they won't give it to you until you pay them money, right? So there's that. Then hacking as well. I know even if you don't know what that was, you should hear hackers, where they'll just hack someone's computer, hack it, and then somebody can just come and find out that all of their information wiped out, nothing, and then you now have a client, you have a client that understands and tell you that they will sue you. Ah, gosh, may you not get into trouble. Trust me, may you not get into trouble, and that's why you have to be really, really careful. Please, very, very important to be careful. So, risk assessment for VAs: identify critical tasks like client information, project, identify, sorry. So, basically, what risk assessment does for us here is you would identify your tasks that are very, very important, and then you would evaluate how these threats could disrupt them. So, what I mean is, you look at it, these tasks are very important. Communicating with clients, for example, client communication is very important to you because you need to respond to your clients in a very timely manner. You don't want the client to think that you ran away with their money or you have absconded. So it is very important. And even personally, from when I'm dealing with anybody, like when I'm dealing with a client or I'm dealing with a potential, maybe I want to patronize you, and I see that you're not even being responsive. That's a turn off. That's a red flag for me. I also like if I even want to come back to you for maybe support turn off. So client communication is very, very important. Responding on time, right? And so it means this is one of the very critical tasks I need to do. So That's one thing that you need to do. Look at risk assessment is highlighting or listing out, okay, what are the things that are very, very important for me in my line of work, that I know that if anything should harm or hamper or get in the way of my doing these things, it will cause problems for me and my relationship with my clients. When you've identified those things, you now start having contingency plans. Start immediately start carrying out your business continuity plans for those things. So, like number one, client communication. You know that responding to clients in a timely manner is very important for you. So, what do you do? What is your means of communication with communicating your client? Your mobile phone, your mobile device. Fine. Get a second, even if it is a cheap phone, at least that can connect to the internet. You can get that as your second mobile device, so that if anything happens to your major one, you have a backup plan. So that's the thing. That's what risk assessment is. Look at critical things, things that are very important to your job, and ensure you have a backup for those things, so that if anything happens, you have somewhere you can just immediately fall back to without much disruptions. Project deadlines. You cannot afford to miss project deadlines. So you look at it, what can really make me miss a project deadline? Okay, internet. That's one thing. So what will I do? Let me quickly get backup SIM registered already. I'll keep it somewhere so that if something happens and this SIM is not working, I'll immediately put in my SIM. Work continues. So these are the things you need to begin to think about them. Access to cloud-based tools. If, for example, maybe your Google storage is already full, and you're like, I need to buy more. I need to buy more storage. It's not expensive, trust me. I think with our how much, I think Google One is not, I think it's Google One when I paid for it, I think it was about 2,000, 1,000, almost 2,000 naira, and you get 1 terabyte storage. You don't want the terabyte, you don't save a client's work because you don't have space anymore. And then your laptop now malfunctions, you don't have access to it. And then when the client calls you and says, "Oh," you say, "Hey, the laptop crashed." I said, "Oh, no problem. But I mean, I believe you must have saved this to the cloud." And like, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't have space again." How does that even sound? How does that sound to you? So in that kind of situation, okay, you don't have space. What do I do? Let me buy more space. Go, you can buy. You don't even have just buy more space. It is cheap, 2,000 naira every month. You have bought space, so you have more space to store things in the cloud, so that if anything happens, you are not caught unawares. That's risk assessment, right? Risk assessment. So please evaluate various threats that could disrupt your tasks. Okay, technology failures. And like even like I said, just imagine they cut you off internet for 5 hours right now. That is yes, and if you again, if you have like a client that you are actually actively working with, some of you that is not good at all. So you don't want to be in that kind of situation. All right. So please ensure you take these things very, very seriously. So it's time for break. We have 10 minutes break. And then once we come back from our break, we'll continue part two. 10 minutes, we'll come back at 8:15. Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Okay, mic check, mic check. Are you there? Please let me know if you can hear me. Right. All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right, so we're talking about business continuity and disaster recovery. Okay, so let's continue. Now, developing a business continuity plan. Okay, developing a business continuity plan. First, now creating a business continuity plan allows VAs to minimize disruptions, allows you to minimize disruptions and recover quickly from unforeseen events. It would allow you to minimize disruptions, like I had already mentioned earlier, and recover quickly from unforeseen events. A well thought out plan ensures that business operations will continue smoothly. I'd already mentioned this earlier. Okay, that if you have a very good business continuity plan, even when things happen that are not within your control, you can bounce back quickly. Okay, now how do you create a continuity plan? Backup strategies, I had already said that earlier. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back up. Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Microsoft. We have all of those things. Then, if you know that okay, you're in a place where there's no power or you are prone to power outage, you don't have a generator, how about you check? You might have an alternative workspace, or all the spaces that have co-working spaces. You know, you can have a co-working space and then just subscribe to it. Some of them, I don't know how much. I mean, it depends. They have different grades, different levels that are subscribed to. So you can just decide to pay, and then you would go. Every day you would go there to. Every day you will go there to work without being without any fear of interruptions. Okay. Okay. Then also, mobile hotspot. If your internet is not working, you can get a hotspot or something. Just backup internet, basically. Then client communication, again, set expectations. That's another thing with client expectations. Even in terms of when you are, even in terms of when you are, if you're just about to maybe, if you're just about to start with the, if you're about to with start with the clients, you can just always let them know, no, this is how I normally this is my communication style, this is my communication, how often how quickly I respond. Expect a response from me within 2 to 3, within maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Expect a response. Just extend let them know. That's also a way to also ensure continuity, right? And even if there's going to be any issues, you can let them know, oh, I'm going to be in communicator for about 6 hours tomorrow because of XYZ. Let them know ahead of time. Okay, so that even when it happens, the client already knows that, oh, he already told me that it will not be available. Okay, you can also have service disruption updates, keep them informed, right? Even if it's something you cannot solve immediately, maybe you told them, okay, I'll be unavailable tomorrow for 6 hours. And when it's like already the third hour and it's looking like, it doesn't seem I'm going to come back, reach out. Oh, I'm so sorry, it's extending beyond the zone. Like, please communicate. Okay, please communicate. Even when something happens and you know that this one was totally out of your power, totally, please reach out. Don't just say and just disappear. You won't see anything. The client is one trying to reach you, cannot reach you. Let just say, oh, quick emergency. I'll be back in XYZ or ETA 5 hours. Just let them know. Okay, I'll provide updates when I return. Do you understand? So please be ensure you practice proactive communication. Then documentation and resources. You see, documentation is so important. It is extremely important. Having the right documentation and resources ensures that you can respond effectively to any threats or disruption. So, for example, standard operating processes, right? SOPs are step-by-step guides that outline how your tasks should be completed. SOPs are step-by-step guides that outlines how tasks should be completed even in your absence or during an emergency. So take for example, you are not available. Maybe for some reason, like the example that I gave to to you about the NYSC orientation camp. So for example, you can just decide that if you have a team member, if you have a team member that would stand in for you, maybe somebody that works with you can just have, and you know the person, you want to hand over some of your key clients to the person because you already have a guide that tells them, oh, this is how this should be done, that is how that should be done, that's how that should be done. So even when you're not there and the person is unsure of certain things, the person knows what to do. The person knows where to go to. The person knows whom, because you have already, and it is also very important because imagine you're going to somewhere where you're not even reachable, or you're going to somewhere where you are quite busy, you cannot even attend to it. The person knows what to do and your business is not suffering. So that's why your SOPs are very important. Like document, this is how I respond to clients, this is the kind of tone that I use, this is this person's work, this is the next step after this task. It would really help. So SOP will ensure that your work continues smoothly, even when disruptions occur. Now, contact information. This one is very important. Keep an up-to-date list of your client contacts, please. Add email addresses, phone numbers, alternative means of communication, like just so that because some of it's the only trust me, some of you here, the only place you have your contacts is on your phone. Some of us here, if that phone goes today, all your contacts are gone. All your contacts they're not, you can't reach them anymore. And it should not be so, especially if you're a business owner. You have back up your contacts. Back it up. Have a list. Put their names, their email addresses, their phone numbers, means of communication. Have all those things, so that if there's any emergency or any technical failure, you have the information handy and you can always reach out quickly and notify clients of any delays or issues. Okay, so yeah. Now, disaster recovery strategies for VAs. Okay, so before we go there, let me just quickly share this one. Importance of regular testing for virtual assistants. So what is regular testing of your recovery plan is crucial to ensure that they function as intended when an actual disruption occurs. So you are doing like a mock test, right? And simulations. Virtual assistants can identify gaps, improve processes, and ensure a smooth transition during unexpected events. So what this simply means is you're going to test, like you simulate a mock situation. You know when you have like a fire drill where you just find out, I don't know how many of you have had fire drills, but where there's a false fire alarm in your office and then they want to see how you react in the case where a real fire, happens. So that's really what this is about. Mock testing, regular testing of recovery plans. Recovery plans is very important to ensure that they function as intended when an actual disruption will occur. You know that, okay, what I'm doing is this plan I have put in place is fine. So let me give an instance. let me give you an instance, for example, with the SIM card. So let's say you have already kept your SIM and you're like, oh, this is the SIM I'm going to use in case anything happens to this, my main SIM. This is the SIM I'm going to use. And then somehow you didn't even know that something, maybe the SIM has broken. You kept it there. I have a backup SIM. I have a backup SIM. So yeah, but the SIM has even damaged. You don't even know. So what is a regular? What does regular testing look like? Regular testing is you just once in maybe once in 3 months or once in 4 months, just pick up that SIM, insert it, recharge on it. Just know that they have not even blocked it. You know that they have not even blocked the SIM. Just recharge. Browse with it, check if everything is okay. And after you have checked, you're like, okay, all is still good. And then after you are done, you put it back. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's how it works, right? That's how it works. If, for example, maybe you stored your contact somewhere or you have a backup, just once in a while, just check. Let me check my contacts and this, do all of this, simulate it. Do you get it? Simulate it. For example, just imagine what will you do? So take for example, you are like, okay, you're like in your head, you're like, this is you identified a co-working space that you can use. And then you said that in case of any power outage, this is the co-working space I'm going to use. It's like 2 streets away from my house. And you did not even know that they have moved, like they have relocated to another location. And in your mind, that's the co-working space I will use. And then the day you not actually need them, you carried your bag with full confidence, carried your laptop, carried your tools, your head, where you go, I'm going to co-working. And then you got there and you realized that where are they? You found that they are now selling, it's a provision store that is now there now. When did this one because you didn't test. That's what regular testing will do for you. It is important so you know that this my contingency plan or this my backup plan is still intact. If anything happens now, it can still serve me. It's still working, right? So please, it's very very important. Then, um, yeah. So I already explained all of that. So you also ensure that you keep your continuity plans current. It's still part of the same thing. For example, let me give an instance. When there was a time when internet service providers were saying, oh, you have to register for BVN and all of those things. If not, they will block you. Is it BVN or NIN? Which one would they? There's one that you need to link to your SIM, one of those two. Otherwise, they will block your SIM. So imagine if you didn't even realize, probably even forgotten, and then your SIM had been blocked because you did not even that knew your backup SIM, which you had already. In fact, it was fine. It had been blocked, and you didn't know. And then the day you now needed the SIM, you found out that the SIM is not even able to serve you because you're not keeping up. So whatever continuity plan you have, ensure you are keeping up, like it is current. Not that you have continuity plan 1 year ago, you didn't even go back to check if everything is still okay with the plan that you put in place. And then when you now did the plan, you find out that it is outdated, it's redundant, it can't serve you anymore. So it's as good as you don't even have a plan. So yes, it's good to have a plan, but once in a while, go back, be sure. Can this thing still serve me? Is it still up to date? Is it still working? Is it still good? So please, very, very important. Okay? Even with your clients, even with your clients, sometimes maybe a client that you've been working with, you had a long relationship with the client, and you did not bother to the client has maybe updated something with their policies and you don't even bother to find out. You are just continuing with the old process that it can actually affect things for you. All right, so please, that's very important. Okay, so yeah, that's what I just spoke about here. So that's that about that. So now I want us to do something now. I want us to have scenarios based on these whole explanations that I have given to you. So I'll give you a scenario and I want you to tell me what to do. So now there's a freelance virtual assistant who had a problem. He lost his data due to hardware failure. I hope you know when I say data here, I don't mean data in terms of your mobile, like I mean data in terms of like information, records. I don't mean data in terms of browsing data or your internet data. I mean so now I want to ask questions. this question and you will tell me a freelance virtual assistant had been working for several clients on various projects, storing all the files on their personal laptop without any backup. They didn't have a backup system in place, believing that as long as their laptop worked, everything was fine. One day, the laptop's hard drive crashed, causing all client data, reports, and project documents to be lost. What was the consequences? What could they have done better? So let me know what your comments are.
So everybody, if there are three weddings that day. If you give 6 pieces, another person give 6 pieces, another person give, the person carry 18 pieces of it home. That and like 12 people are not doing 6 pieces of it. I didn't want to finish 18 pieces of it. That person will not buy this for the rest of the month. And you know that the mix is big. And I'm thinking, oh, let me 6 pieces of meat. Even sweet, oh, now very 6 pieces of meat. No, how much is saying is in our pocket? How much is yes? No, I like you see like people used to do their this thing very good because of all this.
No,
6 pieces of meat, that's outrageous.
that's very outrageous.
I feel like it's even for that level of for specifying is I don't want to say classless. I don't want to say that.
That each person must get at least minimum. She said, don't do 5, don't do 3, at least 6 pieces of meat. No.
People just do a bowl of meat.
No.
Don't do rice. Just do peppered meat.
I'm not doing that though for 12 people.
No. What should have to do? So okay, there should be food. To make sure that there is food for the people, for the ministers or whatever, officiating ministers or however, there should be food for them. But I feel like specifying it is maybe that's how the agenda is. Maybe Rebecca also dropped on it.
Okay. Consequences: the freelancer might lose clients and will have to start the project again from scratch. So as a freelancer, have a cloud space for saving data. Lots of clients and could be sued. He could have saved his clients' files on Google Drive, Dropbox, or any other cloud storage. Okay. What had been done? What could have been done? Having backups such as Google Drive, Dropbox. Lots of clients and could be sued. They would have planned for disaster and threats time ahead, losing his client, and they could back up his data using cloud storage. They should have had a backup plan, like storing in the cloud and accessing it automatically. Okay, that's fine. That works. So I have another question for you. Laptop crash recovery. Now, laptop crash recovery is another scenario that I have for you. Now, a virtual assistant laptop crashes while they are working on a client's project, and the files stored locally are no longer accessible. However, the files were backed up in the cloud. What are the steps for recovery? What are the steps for recovery? What are the steps for recovery?
let me just be quiet. All ministers
All right. Well done, everyone. Well done. Okay, so I can see some of your answers. Getting a new device, getting a new laptop, getting a new laptop, login. Okay. I mean, yeah, log into the cloud and get the required documents, get another device as soon as possible. Probably your phone, log into your cloud storage and start working again. Having all the documents and data saved in a backup flash drive. Correct. Okay, that is good. That is good. So I'm just what I had in mind, or what I want to share regarding that in terms of steps for recovery. Of course, the first thing to do will be to your notify your notify your clients. Like, oh hi, I wanted to inform you that I'm experiencing a technical issue with my laptop, but all files are backed up and I'm working to recover them as soon as possible. Right. So that is if it is something that will require maybe you to it's something that so like let me give an instance. Another backup plan can be like, okay, you need to transfer the files if you are working with a very large file, because there are some files that are very large that you need to like download, set up and all of that. If you to take maybe it into your deliverable time, you can just inform your clients, but let them know that you are working on it and it should get back up ETA maybe like 1 day max. You don't want it, you're not telling them to say, my sorry, please, oh, have mercy on me. You won't believe what just happened to me. My laptop, oh, now I don't even know when. I'm only looking at who will look at my. You can't do that. You need to be very professional. Then after you have informed the clients, okay, you can just say, oh, hi, X, who, and what their name is. I wanted to inform you that I'm experiencing a technical issue with my laptop. Rest assured, all files are backed up, and I'm working to recover them as soon as possible. I'll keep you updated on the timeline for resolution. Yeah. Then you can also, after that is done, then you now begin to restore your files immediately. Just begin to restore your files immediately. Once your once your files are restored, if you are still going to meet up with the timeline that you were initially working with, that's fine. You can just inform your client that you are back up and running and everything is back to normal. But if you will need more time, maybe because of what happened, you can let them know that, oh, you need an extension by maybe 24 hours due to the downtime that you had. Okay, but basically just communicate. You can just say, oh, I've successfully recovered the necessary files and I'm resuming work immediately. Okay, and then but if you need more time, you can say, oh, based on the current progress, I can expect to deliver by so and so deadline. That's it. Just communicate properly. And yeah, that's it. That is it. So if you need, if that's just basically it, right? That's it. So with that, we've come to the end of today's class. We've come to the end of today's class. Yeah, and I know you have a project that you're working on. I hope you can hear me, please. Okay, yeah, I know you can hear me. I know we have a project that we're working on, so please let us endeavor to work on our project when it's finally released to us. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening. Okay, let me just take two questions before I go. Two questions. Let me see. Any more questions? Oh, Queen said, is there a way to reach out to me when we start working on the job in terms of difficult tasks? Oh, yes, absolutely. You can always reach out to me via LinkedIn or Ololade Akimbadi, and I'll be happy to help. You're asking what project? Yes, the team will let you know what project it is when the time comes. Okay. Cloud storage, example, you have Google Drive, you have Dropbox. Yeah, those are examples of cloud storage. Okay, so thank you everyone once again for engaging our class. Do have a great rest of your day. Bye.